Alright, so whether you like mining or not, it does require less attention and interaction than most other activities in EVE. Thus, it can be used as a way to earn 3 to 5 million S per hour while also watching videos, reading articles, and attending lectures about EVE. Of course, some people prefer learning by doing, and that's fine for those that prefer it. But if you're watching this, you're already someone who watches instructional videos about playing video games. So, yeah. Doing project discovery while mining can increase your S per hour ratio, but do note that your ability to earn through mining as an alpha is extremely limited. Thus, your time spent playing this character should be front-loaded. As you begin to increase both your player and character skill levels, you should start spending less time on the utility character and more on the other ones. The maximum amount of time you should spend playing him is about 6 or 7 weeks, and that's assuming that you don't play a lot. Heavy players should be moving on to the other characters much sooner. Anyway, if your nullsec corp offers jump freighter services from a trade hub, a final use for this character is to post him up at the relevant trade hub. That way, you can use him to easily buy your stuff and create the courier contracts for it. Also, I suggest that you start your own player corporation with this character. This will allow you to evade the 10% tax rate of the NPC corporations. Don't worry about getting war decked. It's highly unlikely, and if it does happen, you can either turtle up for a week or just start another corp. Do note that while other player corporations may also offer a 0% tax rate, they become increasingly likely to be war decked as they increase in size and activity levels. Thus, you actually don't want to keep your hauler in a large player corp. Instead, you'll want to join those corps with your Ratter and or PvPer and keep your hauler and incursion runner in your own rinky-dink, not worth the war deck fee corp. As for goals, earn some money to buy implants and skill books while learning about the game. Prioritize getting +3 implants for your ratting and incursion characters first, then you can worry about implants for your other characters. Start with the implants for the skills you are training, i.e. memory and intelligence for tanking skills, and then pick up the other two as you need them. Anyway, be sure to use a market aggregator site such as eMarket Data to find the best price for your implants that is within a reasonable range. If paid for entirely through mining, it will take you approximately 24 hours to get the necessary implants for the ratting and incursion characters. I haven't added up the skill book cost for all the characters, but it's nothing crazy. Ballpark estimate should be around 3 hours of mining per character. As for the ships, I recommend buying at least a Miasmos and possibly one generic T1 industrial. Both the Iteron and the Wreath are good choices, but for different reasons. You should also save up enough money for a couple of salvaging catalysts and or ratting algoses. Fits and prices will follow in the next video. Anyway, all this stuff can add up to a fair bit of mining, so try to use the time to learn as much as you can. Of course, feel free to learn about whatever interests you, but try to educate yourself at least a little bit about the core mechanics. Things like ship fitting, safe travel, and weapon types should probably take priority over things like how to fly, the troll fit, ship poke, or the history of the Blue Waffle War. So that stuff may be interesting, but it's far less useful to you as a new player. Anyway, if you get burned out on mining, check out defensive plexing or try to move out to nullsec sooner rather than later. As I said in the last video, it will probably be a while before I do my faction warfare video, but you can already find plenty of info about defensive plexing through a Google search. As for video resources, you'll probably burn through my content pretty quickly, so check out the other channels listed here. They are primarily geared towards game mechanics and PvE, but they also include some useful PvP stuff as well. Regardless, they'll help you to wrap your head around the game and to find your footing. And do note that you do not have to be an EVE University member in order to attend their lectures. Go to the link provided to find out everything you need to know about that. Finally, I made all the fits that you're about to see with Pyfa, so definitely check that out if you want to tailor other people's fits to your own character skills or if you want to create your own from scratch. It does take a few minutes to set up, but it is superior to the in-game fitting tool, and EVE University has an article to help you get started. Alright, so I don't want to turn this into a mining class, so I'm going to try to blaze through this as quickly as possible. First, speed will make up a big portion of your tank, so always orbit a rock with your afterburner on. Second, remember semi-AFK does not mean don't pay any attention to the Eve client. Keep your sounds on and set your shield alarm for 95%. You can turn off the music and all the other garbage. Treat the Eve client like a toddler that's learning to walk and always keep one eye on it. The warp pop and the shield alarm can help if you're not paying attention like you should, but that's assuming that it's not being drowned out by whatever weird shit that you're into. 3. Keep your drones in. Let the rats red box you first, as your venture will be able to take their DPS much better than your drones can. Also, pooping out your drones can be used as a signal to would-be gankers that you're paying attention and that you're ready to warp off if needed. Alright, there's a lot more anti-ganking stuff I could cover, but I need to move on. Hopefully I'll finish my anti-ganking series in a reasonable time frame. Anyway, start out by mining in 0.9 systems. You'll get access to 3 types of ore, including plagioclase if you're mining in Minmatar or Galente space. The problem with 0.9 space, however, is that ore quality tends to be lower, i.e. more regular scordite and less massive scordite, and those damn NPC miners can mine out entire systems. Thus, I wouldn't fault you if you wanted to start working on your drone skills earlier than I suggest. Regardless, once you have some drone skills, you'll be able to deal with the rats that spawn in 0.5 to 0.8 systems. It's at that point that you should fly around with your probe scanner window open, looking for low-sec ore anomalies. You don't need to scan them down, and they can give you access to valuable ores such as jaspit, hermorphite, and hedbergite. I recommend searching 10 to 15 systems in a shuttle at the beginning of every mining session before giving up. If you still can't find one by then try to pick a quiet system with some quality high-sec ore to mine in. 6. Always dump your ore in the nearest station or structure when mining. You can then haul it to market with the miasmos when you're done. Finally, faction spawns are rare but valuable rat spawns. They will have special names like Darkblood, Dreadgorista, Shadow Serpentis, and True Sancha. Oftentimes, they only drop like a tag and some faction ammo, but sometimes they can drop modules worth tens of millions of dollars. However, if you kill all their buddies first, the faction spawn may warp off, so focus your attention on him first. Alright, that's it for mining, moving on. First off, continue the new player experience up until the point where you get the mini skill injector. Then use the unallocated skill points from that and the referral link to almost max out your mining efficiency. You won't quite have enough to finish mining upgrades 4, but it will get you most of the way there. Don't worry too much about finishing the NPE or the career agent missions on this character, as I advise that you do them on your ratting character. If you do end up doing them on this character, try to minimize deviating from the skill plan too much. Also, do note that I'm just going to keep the time estimate simple by always assuming +3 implants, no remaps, and alpha account status. Your actual training time can vary dramatically, especially if you go Omega. Finally, I may make some importable skill plans at some point, but since alphas can only queue skills that start less than 24 hours in the future, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I will, however, format the fits into an importable format and put that and the skills into a Google Doc, which I'll link down below this video. After you finish mining upgrades 4, start working on tanking and navigation skills. They'll help you move around faster and make it harder to gank you. This will translate into slightly better ISK efficiency, fewer losses, and the ability to haul more expensive loads in relative safety. Alright, so I put the drone skills here, but I wouldn't fault you for wanting to do some drone training during Phase 2 so that you can deal with the rats sooner. And of course, the engineering skills are here to help you fit beefier tanks on your ships. The last set of skills that I'm going to recommend are geared towards maximizing tank, drone damage, and quality of life. The market skills are up to you, but they are short train. Anyway, all of these skills, included those granted at character creation, represent about 3.9 million SP, leaving you approximately 1.1 million SP worth of wiggle room. If you end up deviating from the skill plan, be careful that you leave enough SP to finish your skills, lest you find yourself needing to buy daily injectors in order to finish Light Drone Operation 5 or whatnot. Of course, your ratting character should be ready to start earning well before that, so I guess it shouldn't matter too much anyway. Alright, on to the fits. Alright, so these fits are going to be geared towards defending against high-sec gankers, not war targets or low-sec gate camps or whatever. If your hauler is at war, you are wrong, and you shouldn't need to take him out of high-sec for a good long while. Alright, so what does this mean for our fits? First, active tanks just don't rep enough HP during the short time it takes to execute a gank. Thus, the focus will be on buffer tanks. Second, in most cases, you're going to get multiple scrams put on you faster than you'll be able to warp in a T1 industrial. So, unless you're ignoring my advice and fitting a paper-thin tank that one ganking ship can chew through, the stabs aren't going to help you. Alright, the SIG radius thing might be controversial, so I better explain. First, the SIG radii and align times of T1 industrials are comparable to battle cruisers. Thus, any ganker who wants to tackle you will already have no problems doing so. But what about damage application? Well, yeah, the increased SIG radius can make a moderate to huge difference to the damage applications of ships with medium and large size weaponry. However, if you follow my safe haul formula, you'll never carry a load that justifies the use of expensive ganking ships. Moreover, the smaller, cheaper, and more ISK-efficient ganking ships like Catalyst will already have no problem applying their full damage to you. So the extra SIG in my proposed fits is inconsequential in that regard. In other words, don't worry about the sharks when you're food for Barracuda. Anyway, if your high-sec loads ever reach 200 mil in value or more, or you need to haul through other security spaces, then yeah, you should start worrying about your SIG radius then. However, if you follow my fits and stick to the safe haul formula, you'll be able to enjoy fast travel times and be secure in the knowledge that you're too small of a meal for the sharks.
This is how you set up your shitty venture. Don't be a pussy. Instead, fit a mining laser upgrade.
Excuse me. You'll reach maximum possible yield as an alpha after you get that mining laser upgrade 2 on there. Alternatively, you can opt for damage control, but I don't think it's worth the yield loss. Also, don't fit a survey scanner. I've seen older players recommend them, and I disagree with that philosophy. Regardless, compromising your tank to increase your yield is one thing, but if you're short cycling in a venture, you are wasting your life. The yield increase will be minimal, and your time will be better served by leveling up your knowledge. Hell, I would rather you watch Netflix and maintain your sanity than to sit there watching minor twos and a survey scan window. Alright, so I don't want to spell out every change for these fits. Basically, expect a lot of modules to be upgraded to T2 variants as you unlock them. Also, I do swap a few modules around as fitting and navigation skills improve, so pay attention to low slot and shield extender size changes. And once again, I'm going to put all these fits into a Google Doc, so pause if you want to, but you don't need to remember all this. Alright, so once you get some drones, be sure to use the ones that apply best to the rats that spawn in your neck of the woods. Hopefully you're still not mining by this point, but here's the final fit for after you finish the recommended training. The Iteron is a generic hauler with a decent sized cargo bay, but a slow align and a crappy tank. However, it uses the same industrial skill as the Miasmos, and it works well for cargo that is bulky but not that expensive. Alright, your EHP will continue to improve as you train your tanking skills. However, I'm not recommending any further changes to your Iteron after this point. The Miasmos has a specialized cargo bay that's really big, but that can only fit raw ore and ice. Unfortunately, alphas can't mine ice, but the Miasmos is still great for hauling your ore to market. Do note that cargo hold expanders don't affect specialized bays, so they're useless on this ship. Here, better fitting skills and a reactor control unit allow the miasmos to upgrade to a large shield extender. Here, we swap a reactor control unit for a power diagnostic system. It doesn't provide as big of a power grid bonus, but it does provide small bonuses to cap recharge, shield HP, and shield recharge rate, in addition to its power grid bonus. Anyway, your tank will keep improving as you continue to train your skills. However, that's it for the miasmos changes. Okay, so the Wreath has a really small cargo hold, but it makes up for that in tank and speed. This makes it great for moving cargo with larger IS to volume ratios. It will require Minmatar Industrial 1, but it does allow for a Day 1 Newbro to have access to an Industrial with a 30k EHP tank, 6-second align, and a 4.5 AU warp speed. By the end of Phase 2, you'll change out pretty much everything but the rigs, but you'll get twice the tank and shave 1 second off of your align time. Once again, the inertial stabilizers will bloom your SIG, but sticking to the safe haul formula will render that a moot point. Thus, I feel the quality of life improvement is worth the SIG penalty. And here's the final fit. Do note that the N-bones are useless if you're autopiloting and not there to turn them on. So be prepared to heat and turn on your N-bones if necessary. Just click the button to the left of your mid-slot rack to heat the whole rack. Alright, that's it for the fits. Once again, most of the time spent with this character should be front-loaded, so don't get too attached. Don't buy skins for him or random skill books or anything like that. Hell, I would even make getting attribute implants for him a low priority. The first BPO that I bought was for the Venture. I mined the ore, started building a stack of them, and started working on my industry spreadsheet. The Venture was the first thing I put in it, and it was then that I realized that I would have been better off just selling the raw ore. Resource Wars is garbage. Once you factor in the opportunity cost, you're actually losing out. The only good thing that I can say about it is that it is something different, but it even loses that once the novelty wears off. Well, you can do level 3 and 4 distribution missions in a T1 industrial as an alpha. However, you can't dual or triple box them. Limited social skills will reduce payouts and increase the grind to unlock level 3s and 4s. The standing rewards aren't as valuable as they used to be, and your align times and cargo hold sizes are limited by skills. I haven't done the math on this one, but by this point I can't imagine that it would be worth my time to find out for certain. If you're sick of mining and lack the skills from most other activities, you're probably better off just defensive plexing in faction warfare space. Alright, that's the end of this presentation. Next up, I'll cover a character that can make some decent ISK with a relatively short train. Until next time, fly smart.